Hey drumstickers, welcome again! I know it's been hard, 1 week without Drumsticks Sunday, but here I'm again. So, Alberto Iglesias, Drumsticks Sunday channel, you know, a different pair of drumsticks every week. Sorry about last week, but as I mentioned, I have a gig on Saturday night in another city. I have to come back and blah blah blah. I really needed to rest for 1 day. So, what's up? Well, okay, during this week, what I have to say, I've been using, well, I'm gonna talk about the drumsticks I've been using this week and also the past week, which is a Steve White signature model from VicFirth. So I have, well, first of all, for those of you that don't know Steve White, it's an English drummer. It's mainly known because he's been playing with Paul Weller, but also he has played for a lot of different people. He made some tour with Oasis. He made with Ocean Color Scene, I think too. Well, many different bands and all that. But for those of you, maybe me included, that don't have a lot of idea of who Steve White is, as always, the first thing I think is to see his face. No? So this is Steve White. Okay, cool. So, why I'm going to talk about this? Honestly, it's not because I'm a fan of Steve or I know him for something or no. Today I'm going to talk about something different, and it's why I have this pair. I think it's maybe the most important thing that I want to talk today. Well, the thing is, maybe 2 years ago or between 2 and 3 years ago, I was taking classes with a teacher, and one day I went there and he was using this pair. He started using it, so I during one class I get this pair and I start playing with it and blah blah blah. 1 hour class or something like that. Well, the thing is that the next week I have to go to the shop for some reason, blah blah, drum shop, and I thought, okay, if my teacher is using this pair, it's gonna be cool. I have to get that pair, so I get a pair of this, which is this pair, in fact. Well, when I started studying with them, after even the first day, I realized that okay, I don't like this pair. I don't like it. It doesn't fit with the way I play. At that point, I was playing mainly with 5A, and now you'll see we're gonna talk about it. This is more closer to a 5B, has a lot of different things. So I was at that point, I maybe was playing for, I don't know, 1 year or less. So everything changed in the way, in the feel on the drumsticks and all that stuff. And after 1 week trying, or more than 1 week, I decided, okay, this is not for me, and I let this pair. And I went back to the 5A. So what's the point of all this? Okay, I think I mentioned this in the past, but never use another guy, another people that you admire, even the signature model. This is I think pretty common problem with signature models, that we all try to get a pair of our favorite drummer because we think, oh, I want to play like him or her. I need his pair. I'm pretty sure if I get this pair, it's gonna help me. But that's usually not the case. You have to think. That's the whole point of this channel, is that you have to try and try to find what adapts better to you, what helps you, what collaborates with you in a drumstick, and not just because other or your better drummer or your favorite drummer and all that stuff. Only that it can be the only reason for taking or deciding to buy a pair of drumsticks. And that was my case. I just get this pair because my teacher was using it. I immediately associate, okay, if he's using it, I have to use it. And it was a mistake at that point. So, but it doesn't matter if it's your teacher, if it's the guy, the signature model, if it's the guy that has his name or her name in the drumstick. That's not the reason. Just try. of course, you can try his pair or her pair. Sorry. Let's allow me to be a little bit flexible with this. No, English is not my main language, so in case I skip one hair, I hope you forgive me. So that's the maybe the main reason of this episode is that just try, keep trying. Have a look of the episodes. Try to focus. Try to narrow the options in your case, because if you can see how different parts behaves and all that stuff, that's the thing. That's what I'm doing this, honestly. That's so, and I want you to know that I made this mistake by myself. It was 2 years ago, and I want to learn from this, and I want you to have at least to know what happens when you, or what could happen. Maybe you get his pair and it's and her pair, and it's amazing. And it fits you, cool, but not only because it's the Steve Y model, it's because the physical characteristics of the drumstick, it fits you, okay, suits you. Okay, but anyway, we're going to talk about this, and in fact, one cool exercise I want to do with this is, okay, what happens if I'm getting this part again after 2 years? What happens now with everything I've learned, with everything? The way I play now and all that, it's gonna be any difference, or it's just gonna be okay? No, I still don't like it. Let's see what happens. Okay, about the before starting talking about the drumstick, as always, I want you to have to see how it looks like. Okay, so here you have a picture. This is the Steve Y signature model from VicFirth. Cool. Well, another thing I have to say, honestly, doing some research, if you go to see Y page, it still appears this drumstick, but the thing is that if you go to the VicFirth page, I've been incapable to find this model. So, two things, I honestly think that, well, many things can happen, but I think two main reasons for that. One reason is because maybe he's not doing this drumstick anymore. Maybe it's recent, I don't know. The strange thing for me is that in the Steve Y page it still appears like it's signature model and it's a VicFirth player and all that stuff. So I don't know. But the other option is that maybe VicFirth has decided that he's still gonna make this model, but just for Steve, because maybe the sales are, if they see that one model is not getting enough sales or something like that, maybe he can say, okay, I'm gonna still make this model for you, but just for you. No, not for the public. I don't know, honestly. I've been doing some research. I haven't found anything in the Twitter from Steve so honestly, I know that you can still get a pair of these in many shops, but I don't know why in the VicFirth page it doesn't appear. I've been incapable to find it. If you have any idea why this is happening, just let me know. But anyway, we're gonna talk about the drumstick anyway. So, about the sizes and the measures, this is, okay, the length is 16 plus a quarter. We have the grip, which is 0.585. His hickory, this is a medium, I would say maybe short, between medium and short, more short than medium in my opinion, taper. And a pretty big tip. Okay, it's fatter than a regular tip from VicFirth. Okay, and it's white. Okay, yeah, it's painted in white. So it's I think it's everything I can say about the drumstick. Now, what we're going to translate this. Okay, what all these sizes mean. 16 plus a quarter. It's a little bit longer than a regular 16 inches drumstick from VicFirth. In fact, I'm going to compare this with a 5B because it's kind of closer to 5B, but it's closer, but it's pretty different in the feel. Okay. So if we compare with regular 5B, as you can see, this of course a little bit longer. It's that quarter that I mentioned. So what else? The grip, okay, the grip is this is a little bit thinner than a regular 5B. A regular 5B is 0.595. This is 585. So we are between a 5A and 5B, but closer to the 5B, a little bit closer. Okay, not in the middle, just a little bit closer to the 5B. 5A is 0.565, so we are 5A5 closer to the 5B. Okay. About the tip and the taper, if I put this together, what I can see, you can see it's okay. This is a little bit, the taper of this one is a little bit shorter. That maybe this go there and this go there. The tip is pretty different, in fact. Okay, this is it's like it's being heated here, and it's fire, like you can see the different. I think so. You can see the difference. Another thing you can maybe you don't notice, but it's pretty obvious here is that this is thinner than this one. The neck is thinner in a regular 5B than in the Steve Y model, and well, that's more or less all the parts compared with a regular. So you have an idea what are we talking about if you compare it with a 5B. So we are just in the middle of 5A, 5B, closer to 5B. More material here, more wood in the front, bigger tip, more rounded tip, and a little bit longer, just to recap, okay? What I have to say about this drumstick? Well, first of all, about the length, honestly, well, about the grip, let's start with the grip. It's between a 5A and 5B, so in my case, I've mentioned many times, I think in the past, that I don't know why, but a 5B, VicFirth 5B doesn't suits me. I don't know, there's something that I don't feel comfortable with it. I can play a 5A for sure, but from VicFirth, but I don't know why. But a 5B, honestly, I don't know why. But there's something, maybe the grip, maybe the tip, I don't know. But that's something that, in this case, we are talking it's a little bit thinner than a 5B. So I regularly play 5A or closer to 5A. So for me, in this case, it's the first thing that that I prefer from a regular 5B. Is this thing? It's the grip. So it's just a little bit, but in my case, it feels better in my hand. Okay. So about the length, honestly, I don't have anything to say. I haven't noticed any difference. It's just it's not a lot. It's just a little bit. No, this is. But if we take this, just a little bit. So sometimes even that little makes you feel different. But in this case, honestly, I haven't noticed anything. So for me, nothing to say about the length. But the most important part, in my opinion, is all this front of the drumstick. Okay. First thing, the taper. We have the taper is shorter, a little bit shorter. The neck is it's thicker, so we have, in the end, we have more wood here, and as I always say, more wood here. It's less rebound, or short, less or slower, but at the same time more consistent. So you get more, the rebound is more stable and all that. But here we have to talk. I think honestly we have to talk about the combination of the tip and the taper compared with this one. Okay. If you have this, if we put this together, first thing I feel is about the taper. As I was mentioning, we have more wood, so the drumstick wants to go forward, okay, more than this one, okay. At the same time, in this case, okay, we have a taper which is longer. We're supposed to get a faster rebound. But the tip is way longer than this one, so we have more surface here in contact with the drum head or with the cymbal. So that's pulling in the other direction. Okay, less rebound. What happens is, in this case, we have more wood here, but at the same time we have the tip is more. It's going more to a round tip. It's closer to a round tip, in fact. So we have to think about the combination. For me, this has better rebound, looking at the whole thing, okay, about the feel, about the speed, about all that, it feels better, the rebound more comfortable for me, more stable. Also, you have the angle thing. We have less influence of the angle. It's more stable depending on the angle of attack. That's cool for me. I think I feel it's more consistent where we are rolling and all that. So for me, this tip is thinking about that consistency and all that stuff. I prefer this pair. On the other hand, the tip is pretty huge for this size, and you have more weight here. So the cymbals, for example, opens a lot. You have to control more that compared with a regular 5e. You have to pay more attention to that. You get a different sound too, more open than in the other case. But at the same time, with these you can modify that depending on the angle. With these you have less options of that. So trying to recap, I think this pair it's more gives you more power by default. I mean, you got more attack and more of that. But at the same time, it feels better. All that increase of power or more attack gives you also comes with more control too. So it's a pretty cool combination, I think. To sum up, honestly, if I have to decide between this and a regular 5e, in my case, I prefer this pair. Okay, if you go to a jam session and the drummer has these two pairs and I have to play, okay, I have to choose one of those, I will get this pair instead of the regular 5e. Okay, but that's me. Of course, maybe depends on you and what do you think. You have the extra length, so okay, that's more or less my. I would say that it's a 5e with a little bit more of power. Okay, because well, of course, the grip is not a 5e, but it's closer, so feel better. And the last thing I have to mention is about the pain. Okay, just as always, maybe it could increase depending on how you are and how how your hands about the sweat and all that stuff. Maybe you can get a little bit of improved grip, but at the same time, I miss my problem always with pain, as I've mentioned in the past, is just that I like to feel the boot in my hands, and in this case, you can feel more the pain first, and maybe it could help you with the grip, maybe not, depends on your case, but for sure it feels different. Okay, you can feel more the pain and the lacquer and all that stuff. You can feel it in your hand instead of the boot, like in this case. You can feel more that you are touching boot. Okay, but that's common for me to more or less all models that has this layer of paint. So not different. Okay, so curious thing, after using this pair for 1 week and a half or something like that, nowadays it feels better to play with it than 2 years ago. So another curious thing to learn, and so we've been talking about this a lot of times. The more you learn, the more you learn how to play and how to understand all that stuff, the more options you have. You are able to adapt better to a different pair and all that. So honestly, nowadays I would be able to play a gig with this without any problem, I think. If it's a jazz gig, you have to play a little bit with, containing yourself because of the weight and all that. But I think it feels better. The rebound feels good, and compared with what happens to me in the past, that I was starting, and once you change, when I change the drumstick, what's happening? I don't know what's happening. I can use the same speed. Something is failing, and all that stuff. The more you learn, the more I able to control all that stuff. So another lesson for me. Okay, that's all I have to say. That's the way. I don't know, honestly, if you are, for sure you're gonna be able to get a pair of these. There's a lot of shops online that have it, or maybe physical shops. But I don't know for how long, or if it's gonna continue this product. Honestly, I don't have that information. Next week, okay. For those of you that are following the social networks and all that, maybe you know that this week I've been in one of the most famous YouTube channel, YouTube channels related to drums. We're talking about Spanish language, which is 7 Drums, pretty famous YouTube channel. When they've been super cool guys, and they've invited me to talk about this, about all this craziness about drumsticks. And so we have a special episode next week. So it's pretty cool because it's the 50th episode and we can combine all that. So the thing is, they release their videos mainly, well, they have on Tuesday. I think maybe this Tuesday we have a video about drummer games, the application I've been developing and all that. I'm not sure, well, depends on them if they have time or not. But for sure, the next Wednesday, they're going to release our video, the video we've been doing about drumsticks. So the idea is you have Drumsticks Sunday 50 special episode is on Friday, where I'm going to appear in their channel. But at the same time, they are 2 guys, Seven Sui and Diego, awesome guys by the way. And okay, and Seven, who's the player, he's been super cool and just gave me a pair of his signature model from Vincent, okay, which is the 7 Sui model, as you can see here. So what I think, okay, if they're going to release a video on Friday, I'm going to release my video on next Sunday talking about his drumsticks, okay? It's like a way to cross information, okay? So it's been super special for me to appear there. It's the first channel I really started following. Sorry guys for those of you that don't understand Spanish. Maybe if I have time, I'm going to talk with Diego to maybe try to subtitle or something like that by myself, but I can promise you that it's going to be next week. If I have time, I'm going to try to do that, so you have, because the idea is to have an episode about how to select your pair, about the process on the parts and all that stuff. It's a pretty cool episode, I think. That's what I have to say. I hope you've been trying drumstick, you've been playing, practicing, all that. So, see you in 7 days with the 50th episode. Huh? Oh my god. Okay, have a good week and keep practicing. Don't forget that, okay? Goodbye.